Beyond the mountains that separate the north from Aldor lies a land called Skadia, a land without kings, where no crown decides the fate of every man, and where respect must be earned. In Skadia, wealth never defined a man. Responsibility did, discipline did, and the promises he was willing to keep. Even their weapons reflected their values. The mace was never just a weapon of war. It was a symbol of duty, of authority, and of responsibility. Not every son of Skadia remains at home. Some must leave, not in search of glory, but to fulfill their duty. Velmir was one of them. He did not leave Skadia to become a hero. He left because a man must be willing to carry his own responsibilities. He carried no title, no fortune, only a promise. And the teachings of the land that had raised him.
Is that so? Interesting. So here's the deal. I can't walk to Bryn with my leg like this. We're in luck, though. While you were away, I had a talk with the village elder. Don't worry about the job. It's nothing special. Ah, I almost forgot. Here's a map of the area. You can also ask the innkeeper about local events.
Beyond the mountains, another world awaited. A place where laws carried more weight than a man's word. Where gold opened doors, and where honor meant something very different. Velmir sought nothing more than honest work, a contract, a chance to begin. But without knowing it, he had taken the first step toward a journey that would test everything he believed in. Before leaving Skadia, Velmir had to make one final choice. For years, that spear had guarded the roads he called home, and that crossbow had brought him safely home more times than he could count. They were never just tools, they were part of his story, but no man can walk every path at once. To move forward, he first had to leave something behind. Only one would travel with him, his mace. In Skadia, a mace was never merely a weapon. It was a reminder of duty, of discipline, and of the responsibility carried by every decision. Every swing would have a purpose. Every battle would demand judgment. Every victory would carry a cost. For the weight of a mace is never measured by the iron that forged it, but by the consequences of the one who chooses to wield it. His first contract was now in his hands. Another duty, this time in a foreign land. Aldor was different from Skadia. Here, governors gave the orders, and guards kept the peace. Velmir did not yet know what to make of it. He had arrived as a stranger, and before passing judgment, he chose to observe. His first destination was a small fort overrun by bandits. It was time to keep his word. Velmir finally reached the fort. Until that moment, he had been little more than an observer, but no longer. Now he had a duty to fulfill, and alongside his mace, he carried the principles of Skadia. It was time to act. The first encounter was over. Velmir was beginning to understand the kind of challenges that awaited him in Aldor. He prepared a simple meal and took a few quiet moments to rest. His duty had only just begun, and he knew the hardest trials were still ahead. The inside of the fort was unlike anything Velmir had known in Skadia. Stone walls, narrow corridors, rooms where every doorway could hide danger. Every step demanded more attention than the last. Velmir moved carefully, not out of fear, but because he was still a stranger in these lands. He studied the way the fort had been built, the placement of the torches, the corners where an enemy might be waiting. Everything had something to teach him. In Skadia, he had learned that no man can bring order to a place he does not understand. And if Aldor was to become his new path, he first had to learn to know it. As he moved deeper into the fort, Velmir began to understand something else about Aldor's constructions. These places were not only defensive positions, they were built to endure. Dormitories, storage rooms, places where soldiers could remain for long periods of time, and now a large kitchen. In Skadia, he had learned that preparation was part of victory. A tired man makes mistakes. A poorly prepared man forces others to pay the price. Staying strong was also part of his duty. Even the strongest strike requires a body capable of delivering it. Many bandits had already fallen, but the fort still felt quiet. Too quiet. The danger was not over. So Velmir continued forward, observing, preparing, and allowing every step to teach him something new about Aldor. Each swing of his mace had a purpose. They were not strikes born from anger, but from duty. Every blow represented the responsibility he had chosen to carry. To bring order, to resolve what others could not. The enemies seemed to be gathering in this area, more bandits than he expected, more obstacles before completing his first contract. Velmir tightened his grip on his mace. His path remained the same. Observe, prepare, act when necessary. But this time, he moved forward with a new determination. But then, something Velmir did not expect appeared. A different kind of enemy. Stronger. More prepared. For the first time since arriving in Aldor, the situation could not be solved by simply moving forward. He had to stop. Observe. Choose the right moment for every strike. Know when to attack and when to break his enemy's balance. The battlefield itself was part of the battle, and by using every advantage available, he managed to prevail. The contract was clear. The leader had to fall. And this time, Velmir had fulfilled his duty. That mace had begun to represent something more. It was not only a weapon. It was the tool through which he would carry out his responsibilities. One duty after another. One contract after another. This was only the first. Velmir returned to Osbrook. He had fulfilled his first duty in Aldor, but something inside him still felt unfamiliar. These lands were not like Skadia. Their customs were different. Their ways of authority were different. But even so, he had found something familiar. A duty, a promise fulfilled, a responsibility accepted. When he woke, he was not searching for answers. It was still too soon for that. He simply took his contract reward, adjusted his equipment, and continued forward. Because for a man from Skadia, the first duty is never the last.